road I'm on is my way. The balance of things around me, well, it puzzles me more every day. Still, I've known love that lasts through the ages, and I've cherished the hearts that danced with mine. And there's so many things I would understand if one life was enough time. And I'm wondering why all God's people can't share what was given us all. It saddens me to think down through the centuries that mankind could still be that small. Still, I've known love that lasts through the ages, and I've cherished the hearts that have danced with mine. And there's so many things I would understand if one life was enough time. If one life was enough time.
exactly what they mean. They don't say, they don't stutter, They don't mutter, they don't repeat themselves. They don't repeat themselves. They know exactly what they're doing. They know why. Who are these people? Where do they live? They have so much to offer. They have so much to give. Who are these people? What do they know that I don't know? Who are they? In the movies I've been watching, everyone's beautiful, unless they're ugly, and then they're really ugly. Acting like it all makes sense to be doing what they do. They don't act anything at all like me and you. Who are these people? Where do they live? I haven't met them in my travels, never went to school with them. Where are these keen minds with their perfect sentences? Calm and collected, so full of confidence. They're not sick unless they're dying. They don't watch too much TV. Their life's so action-packed that they may never get to sleep. Who are these people? What do they know that I don't know? Who are they? Recycled perfume pages of a glossy magazine. Swim the random channels of remote control. Run a music marathon on late night radio. A family photo album of the people I don't know. Who are these people? Where do they live? I haven't met them in my travels, never went to school with them. Where are these keen minds with their perfect sentences? Calm and collected, so full of confidence. Who are these people? What do they know that I don't know? Who are they?
We are the ones, we are the ones, we've been waiting. We are the ones, we are the ones, we've been waiting. We are the ones, we've been waiting. We are the ones, we've been waiting. We are the ones we've been waiting.
Good morning. We're awfully glad you're here with us. I hope somewhere along the line you'll put a note in the chat to let us know that you dropped by. In this covenantal community built on our promises of how we will be together and how we hope to be in the world, rather than how we think or believe. We try to treat respectfully those with differing paths and opinions. It's our challenge and it is our covenant. So whoever you are, if you care to be here with us, you're welcome. No matter age, race, origin, orientation, background, status, ability, identity, we're glad you're here. We front load this service with some announcements, and we try to do it live with you. So any glitches along the way are just happening real time, just so that you feel like you're really here with us. I miss hearing you say back to me, good morning, but I can feel you. So here we go. I want to welcome our board person of the day, Jennifer Russell, to share some announcements with you.
Thank you, Barbara. Good morning. Again, my name is Jennifer Russell, and I'm a member of the board at All Souls. Our announcements for this week. Yesterday, we had our Building and Grounds Day. As you guys know, all of the work that gets done with the upkeep of the grounds and the building, even when it's not being used very much, happens through the work of our congregation. And yesterday, we had Deborah Warren, Eric First, Dawn Subasich, Tina Hines, Barbara Dager, and Susan Caldwell, who came out to help. So thank you to them. For the month of August, our Giveaway the Plate recipient is going to be the Shreveport YWCA's Dialogue on Race program. And we are doing that in memory of Thomas Ratcliffe. Thomas Ratcliffe is the son of Joy and John Ratcliffe, and he passed away a few weeks ago as a result of a fire at his residence. The Dialogue on Race is a program through the YWCA that puts groups of people together of different races to have discussions about institutional racism and its effects and what can be done to dismantle it. It's hosted by trained facilitators, and they're actually recruiting for group participants right now. So you can go to the YWCA's website if you're interested in participating. If you are going to donate to the Giveaway the Plate, you can do that on All Souls' website. And just there's a place on there that you can designate that it's for Giveaway the Plate, or you can mail a check to the church and designate on the line, the memo line, that it's for Giveaway the Plate. Let's see. We also have adult religious education every Sunday morning. It's still virtual. At 9:15, Susan Caldwell and Barbara Dager are the facilitators of that. And we will be continuing our work on anti-racism in keeping with our 8th principle. There are other opportunities to connect in person in small groups. Kathy Osuch is kind of coordinating that. So if you're interested in those types of opportunities right now, you can get with her. Other virtual opportunities would include Zoom lunch on Wednesdays at noon, the Salty Chalice Friday nights at 10 p.m., and Barbara's Monday night Zoom pod, which happens at 6 o'clock on Monday nights, if you're looking for that. And then finally, every Thursday is the Highland Blessing Dinner, and they need vaccinated volunteers who will also need to be masked to help with that. And specifically, I believe it's the first Sunday of the month that is All Souls designated week. So those are our announcements for today. Thank you.
Good morning. I am Susan Caldwell. I'm the Director of Religious Education, and we welcome everyone here. And we have some folks we haven't seen in a while who are present watching this morning, so we're really thrilled about that. Wanted to say a couple of things. First of all, I don't know why I messed it up in the email, but we actually meet with the adult religious education at 9 o'clock now. And we do that intentionally so that we have a little more time to check in. 9:15 was back in the world, and somehow I got that in my head this week, but we are not back in the world yet. We are in the virtual world where we're very present with each other, and that's one of the reasons we like to give each other a little more time to find out how we're doing before we get into the content of the class, and to still have plenty of time for that. And Barbara Dager, who's with us on the service today, co-facilitates that group with me, and it's been a good group. We've had a lot of good discussions, so we encourage you to join us. It's open to all. I wanted to talk for a second about the water play we had hoped to have this afternoon with the children and youth and families. It's not happening. We canceled it. We did our best to get the word out to everyone yesterday. It was a combination of kind of low and very mixed response to our survey. It was just hearing about the numbers, hearing that the current surge of COVID may not peak for another few weeks in Louisiana, which is really very, very unfortunate, to say the least. And with school starting, we kind of wanted to get that going and see how that's going to go before we introduce any gatherings, any extra gatherings. We were trying to be very safe, but we just decided it was the best decision for right now. Also wanted to tell you that North Louisiana Interfaith will be meeting Monday at noon. If you are not on that list receiving those emails, that will go out this evening. If you would like to be on that list and would like to have the Zoom link for that, it will be a virtual meeting. We are working on we're getting our local group kind of re-energized and reorganized, and we're working specifically on voting rights and specifically getting more early voting locations, we hope. And also we're starting to look at the issue of redistricting, which is going to be very, very present with us very soon. So if you'd like to join us, please put your name and email in the comments, and I'll make sure that you're added to that list. I think that is all I have for today. I believe we are having virtual water communion next week, and I'm going to let Reverend Barbara tell you a little bit more about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Susan and Dr. Russell. The water communion stuff, the way that we did that last year, we had people submit videos, if they wanted to, of their water and where it was from. This year, you can do that again. We're also hoping that if you would like to participate, you let us know so that we can include as many people on the Zoom call to contribute to the service live with one another virtually as possible. It feels good to see each other's face and be interacting before and after the service. So I hope if you want to do one of those things, you will. Also, we will have maybe a box outside so that you can drop off a sample of your travel water if you want, with a note about where it is or where you went with that travel water, so I can actually pour it into our mutual receptacle, our sacerdotal water, that we save each year and filter and boil. Nobody ever drinks it because a lot of these water sources are not sanitary water sources, but we do use it for things like blessings and for our water communion every year. So I hope that you will pick a way that you'd like to participate and do that. I think that was all I was supposed to touch on. I also want to thank all the people that came to Building and Grounds. It's a really good way to get to know one another a little better, working with people on common endeavors. So I hope if you haven't done that before, you'll consider it again in the future. And now we will try to make our way towards the spirit of worship. Kind of an ominous worship beginning. So welcome to this morning, this day, and this opportunity to be together in community, which is a time of joy, comfort, and sometimes challenges. The Unitarian Universalist congregation, this Unitarian Universalist congregation, is a place where we come to learn more about being human. We are not here because we've figured our lives' questions out, or because we think we've got it right. We come here to learn more about being in relationship together, how to listen, how to forgive, how to be vulnerable, and how to create trust and compassion in one another, with one another. So let us move into worship, willing to be authentic with each other, honest within ourselves, and opening to connection in all of its forms. This reading comes from William Ellery Channing. He was the foremost Unitarian preacher in the United States in the early 19th century, and among the chief influencers of the New England Transcendentalists, although he thought they were a little bit too far, too liberal maybe for him, too progressive for him. Anyway, this reading comes from William Ellery Channing, and I would like to invite our past board president, Bennett Upton, to do it with me. I call that mind free, which masters the senses and which recognizes its own reality and greatness.
Which passes life, not in asking what it shall eat or drink, but in hungering, thirsting, and seeking after righteousness.
I call that mind free, which jealously guards its intellectual rights and powers, which does not content itself with a passive or hereditary faith.
Which opens itself to light whensoever it may come, which receives new truth as an angel from heaven.
I call that mind free, which is not passively framed by outward circumstances and is not the creature of accidental impulse.
which discovers everywhere the radiant signatures of the infinite spirit, and in them finds help to its own spiritual enlargement.
I call that mind free, which protects itself against the usurpations of society and which does not cower to human opinion.
Which refuses to be the slave or tool of the many or of the few, and guards its empire over itself as nobler than the empire of the world.
I call that mind free, which resists the bondage of habit, which does not mechanically copy the past, nor live on its old virtues,
but which listens for new and higher monitions of conscience and rejoices to pour itself forth in fresh and higher exertions.
I call that mind free, which sets no bounds to its love, which wherever they are seen, delights in virtue and sympathizes with suffering.
Which recognizes in all human beings the image of God and the rights of God's children, and offers itself up a willing sacrifice to the cause of humankind.
I call that mind free, which has cast off all fear, but that of wrongdoing, and which no menace or peril can enthrall.
Which is calm in the midst of tumults, and possesses itself, though all else be lost.
May you be graciously received here as your authentic self. May you embrace wonder and encounter new delights. May you rest and be filled in this sacred space. May the grace of the world leave a lasting imprint in you. And may your grateful, authentic heart overflow and bless those around you. I'd like to invite Miss Susan to introduce our children's portion of the chalice lighting this morning.
Thank you, Reverend Barbara. And I had some help with several of our members to do this today. We light this chalice, celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the church of the open mind. This is the church of the helping hands. This is the church of the loving heart. Together, with mind, hands, and heart, we care for the earth and for each other. Thank you.
And thank you, the whole gang. Let's see. This comes from Sarah Lambert. The element of fire represents passion, veracity, authenticity, and vitality. If we envision the chalice as the supporting structure of Unitarian Universalism, then we are the flame. We are the flame. Fanned strong by our passion for justice, freedom, our yearning for truth-telling, our daring to be authentic with one another, and the vitality we sustain in our coming together. In all this, there is love. Let us be the light, unveiled, unmasked, and unashamed. I want to ask Barbara Dager, if she will, to lead our unison affirmation this morning. I invite all of you to please say it with her and get back in the habit of embodying these words.
Thank you, Barbara. And as Reverend Barbara said, hopefully you will join me in this unison affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve human need, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the sacred. Thus do we covenant with each other.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, whoever you're leading, cause it's your caravan, our descending, cause it's your caravan, our living, cause it's your caravan, our descending, cause it's your caravan.
And good morning again. I have a story this morning by an author that we've heard before. It's Peter Reynolds, and he wrote a wonderful book called Say Something that we have read in these virtual services, and I think in the sanctuary as well. So this book is called Be You. You were born to be so many things. Look at all these wonderful words: clever and loved and brave and generous and polite and open-minded and exuberant and loving and ready and yourself, among others. My wish for you, no matter where your journey leads, is for you to always be you. Be ready. Take that next step toward being an amazing human being. Be curious. Turn every stone, ask every why, and keep digging deeply. Discover your own answers. You ever look under rocks? Kind of fascinating sometimes. Be adventurous. Live a big life. When you're ready, step outside your comfort zone. Bravely explore new paths and see where they lead you. Be connected. Find kindred spirits. Be with those who make you feel like the real you. And I would add, be with those who are different from you as well. You can learn from them. Be persistent. Keep going. Never stop. Keep going. Never stop. Keep going. Never stop. Be different. Be silly. Be quirky. Be odd. Be unique. Be weird. Be colorful. Be okay with being different. Be just the way you are. Be kind and be understanding. Help those around you to be themselves. Listen, and then listen some more. Learn more about who they are. Be brave. Try new things. Take a deep breath and plunge forward into new experiences. It gets easier every time you try. Be your own thinker. Think for yourself and set your own unique course. It isn't always easy, but you'll be heading in the direction of you. What a great direction that is, too. Be okay being alone. Take time to be on your own. Hear your own thoughts, your inner voice. Listen to your heart. Be patient. Being more you takes time. So take a deep breath and relax. Let your future unfold at its own pace. It will be worth the wait. And meanwhile, the present can be pretty cool. Be okay reaching out for help. When you need a helping hand, a compassionate ear, an encouraging word, reach out. And remember, this community is here for you. These people, these grown-ups and other children, these people are here for you even when we're not together in real space. As you voyage out into the world, remember, no matter what, you will always be loved. You are ready, so go ahead, be you. Be very, very you. And that's the end. Hope all of you will have a wonderful week being you.
Good morning. For today's meditation, let yourself find a comfortable position where your body can be balanced and your spine straight. Begin with a deep, comfortable breath, shifting your attention to your heart space. And imagine breathing in and out of your heart. Allow your breath to deepen and slow. Allow your breath to be soft and kind. In this sacred moment of quiet presence and open heart, reflect. Today I pause upon my path through life. I see behind me the many twists and turns that make my past and the unknown mysteries that lie before. Yet now I ask a question that carries me deep and deeper still. Who is it that walks these steps? Who is it that dreams these dreams? Who am I? Who am I? Countless answers flood in to meet that questions. Answers that claim to be the truth. Answers held for generations. Answers taught at every turn of life. Today, I ask that question from my heart, and I seek knowing, not belief. I seek the knowing my heart has always held in quiet presence. The answers parade before me. Am I my name? That cannot be. This living presence is not a label. I am not the stories I have told myself, and I am not defined by the stories told by others. I cannot be the thoughts and feelings passing through my mind any more than passing clouds can be the sky. Limits and judgments say I am someone small, but that cannot be. Demands and expectations pretend to define me, but they fail to hold my essence. Calls to a perfection that do not resonate with my wild horizon of my being. Who am I? The crowd of supposed answers now subsides in silence. I turn within and listen to my heart. Here, a wisdom ancient and ever fresh touches the deeper knowing that I seek. I am life itself. I am not separate from the whole, any more than a wave is separate from the sea. I am not separate from the whole, any more than light is separate from the sun. Life lives through me, expressing its endless delight through all the names and forms, through thoughts and dreams, through the challenges and changes that have gathered to create this journey. Who am I? I see myself not in names, but in the beauty that is this moment. I see myself not in separation, but reflected in the interwoven whole of beloved community. I see myself not in old stories and outworn limitations, but in the miracle of my becoming. I am free, I am whole, I am now. In this limitless, unfolding moment, I center in my breath. Breathing in, I touch the deepest knowing of my heart. Breathing out, I celebrate the mystery that lives through me.
Barbara, you're muted.
Thank you. My first reading today comes from Howard Thurman. He was an author, philosopher, theologian, educator, civil rights leader, and the co-founder of the first integrated interfaith religious congregation in the whole United States. Howard Thurman said, "There is something in every one of you that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in yourself. It's the only true guide you will ever have. And if you cannot hear it, you will all of your life spend your days on the ends of strings that somebody else pulls." Forrest Church, who was pastor of All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church in New York City for 30 years, said, "Be who you are." This is, he admits, the hardest task of all. Simply put, he tells us to be who you are is not to fake your existence. He writes that each of us is unique, with unique flaws and gifts, The world doesn't owe us a living. We owe the world a living, our very own. And I want to also paraphrase Parker Palmer, the Quaker author, teacher, activist, and spirituality, social change person who's still going. The true self is planted in us by the creative source, which made us in their own image. The self that wants nothing more or less than for us to be who we were created to be. Embracing one's wholeness makes life more demanding, because once you do that, you must live your whole life. With pretty much regularity, Miss Susan and Larry both hit on everything I'm going to say. But my understanding is that repetition is a tool for learning, and sometimes token lessons aren't. So part of the reason many of us have become part of this church is that we have a longing to find belonging. We want to feel that we have place with others, to share some of our interests and or ideals. As we are individually endeavoring to grow and awaken into living more mindfully, more mindful of the people and world around us, being more capable of living solutions where even now we may not fully realize how we are part of the problem. As we earnestly try to remain teachable and become ever truer to all that we hold sacred, we want to know there is some place we can connect with people who accept us for who we are, who we really are. So, are we really sure that we know who we really are? When I'm at home wearing sweatshirts and jogging pants or denim work shirts and beat up old jeans, is that the real me? Or is it the person who likes to wear a variety of jackets or shoes or ties? Is it the musician or the minister, the daughter or the mom? I would guess most of us by now have come some distance along the road to figuring out that we are not what we do for a living, what we have or don't have. We are not our egos or habits or even all the busyness of our thoughts, worries, and cares. How comfortable are we with letting ourselves be transparent, authentic with that world around us that we want to care for, which, like it or not, includes the general public? How many different personas do we don as we navigate our working lives, our social justice efforts, our family interactions, extended family or family of origin or families of choice? And with all this trying to be appropriate and effective in all of these places, how often are we able to remain fully present to ourselves, to remain utterly authentic? professor, lecturer, author, and podcast host, Brene Brown, a book by which our board person of the day, Jennifer Russell, is leading a group around. Brene Brown said, in order for connection to happen, in order for the connection we want to have, in order for that connection to happen, we have to allow ourselves to be seen, really seen. In her TED Talk, she explains how authenticity is an essential part of developing meaningful relationships. When people show up with their vulnerabilities, it allows them to truly connect with and feel close to others. In her book, The Gifts of Imperfection, the one that Jennifer is leading a group around, Brown talks about authenticity being a collection of choices that we make every day, not easy choices. She talks about her daily gauntlet of gremlin voices saying, what if I think I'm enough but others don't? What if I let my imperfect self be seen and known and nobody likes what they see? What if my friends, family, coworkers like the perfect me better? You know, the one who takes care of everything and everyone. In her research, she found women describing their struggle with authenticity by saying, you're not supposed to let people feel or make people feel uncomfortable, but be honest. Don't upset anyone or hurt anyone's feelings, but say what's on your mind. Sound informed and educated, but not like a know-it-all. Don't say anything unpopular or controversial, but have the courage to disagree with the crowd. Brown quotes E. E. Cummings saying, to be nobody but yourself in a world which is doing its best day and night to make you like everybody else, means to fight the hardest battle which any human being can fight and never stop fighting. She tells us to cultivate courage and boundaries, compassion and strength, and understand that the connection and belonging we want only happen when we believe we are enough. Brene Brown also offers that authenticity demands wholehearted living and loving, even when it's hard. And that mindfully practicing authenticity during our most soul-searching struggles is how we invite grace, joy, and gratitude into our lives. I think authenticity is at least as much about letting go and allowing oneself to participate with that vast, unsearchable what is, and finding connection there as it is about the struggle, letting go versus the striving. My striving doesn't get me there. It isn't in that strenuous effort to stay present that I actually find myself feeling fully at myself, my true self, my authentic self. It's when I unclench or open my spirit to what's more that I show up more completely, more compassionately, feeling more vital and awake and plugged in. I have to stop trying and allow. In that wonderful 20-plus-year-old film, Bagger Vance, a somewhat otherworldly, mysterious, and wise golf caddy tells the golfer he's working for, inside each and every one of us is one true, authentic swing. Something we was born with, something that's ours and ours alone, something that can't be taught to you or learned, something that got to be remembered. Over time, the world can rob us of that swing. It get buried inside us under all the wouldas, couldas, and shouldas. He tells the golfer he's working for, you lost your swing. We got to go find it. Now it's somewhere in the harmony of all that is, all that was, and all that will be. According to Richard Rohr, the American Trappist monk, Thomas Merton, who was a writer, theologian, mystic, poet, social activist, and scholar of comparative religions, said that the true self should not be thought of as anything different than life itself. But not my little life, the big life. Franciscan philosopher John Duns Scotus, who lived 1266 to 1308, said that the human person is not different or separate from being itself. This is not the little being that you and I get attached to and take too seriously, but universal being, that in which we live and move and have our being. As the Christian apostle Paul put in the book of Acts. My impression, and I can always be wrong, is that in Buddhism, the true self is called Buddha nature, Atman, and is present in all sentient beings and realized by the awakened ones. Jack Kornfield, one of the key teachers to introduce Buddhist mindfulness practice to the West, puts it this way. When Christian texts speak of losing the self in God, when Taoists and Hindus speak of merging with a true self beyond all identity, when Buddhists speak of emptiness and of no self, what do they mean? Emptiness does not mean that things don't exist, nor does no self mean that we don't exist. Emptiness refers to the underlying non-separation of life and the fertile ground of energy that gives rise to all forms of life. Our world and sense of play is a play of patterns. In the adult education class this morning, I mentioned a book by Brian McLaren, Faith After Doubt. In it, he talks about a book by John Tucker. And in this book, John Tucker refers to a story that most of us have heard any number of times growing up. Tucker creates an analogy for this story with our own awareness. It's a Hans Christian Andersen tale. And in this fable, a princess searches around the world for a true princess. The prince searches around the world for a true princess to be his bride. But something about each potential princess seems inauthentic. One night in a torrential rainstorm, a soggy woman knocks at the door, at the gate, seeking shelter and claiming to be a princess. Could she be the one for the prince to wed, or is she another imposter? The queen devises a plan to test whether this young woman is in fact a true princess fit for her son. She puts a pea underneath 20 mattresses and puts 20 thick blankets on top of the mattresses. The next morning, the queen asks the young woman how she slept, and she answers, "Oh, very badly. I have scarcely closed my eyes all night. Heaven only knows that was what was in the bed, but I was lying on something hard so that I'm black and blue all over my body. It's horrible." Everyone then knew that this was a true princess, for nobody but a real princess could be as sensitive as that. So the prince takes her as his bride. Tucker uses the story to suggest that the truest part of us is sensitive to the deep uncertainty of life, the P. And we use comforting beliefs like mattresses and blankets to try to shield ourselves from that painful reality. To the degree we remain sensitive to life's uncertainty and pain, in spite of all our layers of self-protection and all our attempts at self-delusion, we reveal our true nobility and authenticity. Yes, I do have to do some practicing to encourage myself toward mindful disrupting of the default settings that I use for my defenses. The things I do to redirect, I have to mindfully redirect the flow of my habits that sometimes I can dress myself in without even thinking about it. The work and the non-work are both parts of it. Believing ourselves worthy, believing ourselves to be enough, knowing that we are always enough. It's not something we have to earn. It's not something we can earn. We don't have to prove anything. We don't have to provide anything. Believing ourselves worthy, understanding that love is ours. We are always worthy of love. Life is on our side. Finding a path to trusting that creative power of the universe is alive and well within us. That's our task. We are worthy of love, just as we are. Hopefully, we will come to find or remember more and more of who we are as we share this journey of growth, awakening and unfolding fully into truly, beautifully, powerfully being authentic. Love is for everyone.
It's for everyone. Everyone's worthy of love. Every broken heart will find some light when love gives them hope. Hope is for everyone. We rise to give life to hope.
Set our minds to kindness and joy. Joy is for everyone. Every soul longs to know joy. Every mother, child's courageous smile speaks joy, born of love. Love is for everyone. Love is for everyone.
We could have golden treasure buried beneath our feet and walk over it again and again, yet never find it because we don't believe it. We don't believe it's there. Just so, all beings live every moment in the city of the divine, but never find the divine because it's hidden in the veil of illusion. That's from the Chandogya Upanishad. The illusions we create in ourselves, around ourselves, cheating ourselves out of the wholeness we are underneath or behind it all as beautiful, unique, authentic humans. In the providence which implants in our hearts the longing for people to live in harmony, in the name of the highest, let us renew our resolution sincerely to be real with our siblings, regardless of any barrier which estranges us from each other. In this holy resolve, may we be strengthened, knowing that we are sacred family. The universe leaning, learning, and longing to know itself. That one spirit, the spirit of love, unites us. And in that knowing resolve, endeavor for a more authentic and joyful life. As we touch one another in common cause and with the authentic spirit of life, light, and love in our midst, let us find the way and the courage to realize the dream which still lives within us. May we be bold in bringing to fruition the golden dreams of human kinship and justice, only possible as they are rooted in authentic self and authentic living. You may well be exactly who you've been waiting for. With all possibility before us and the courage of true spirit, may the path unfold before us. We are the ones. We are the ones we've been waiting for. So may it be for all of us. In peace. Blessed be. Ashe. Namaste. Amen.